we log on, I'm like going, I think on my last one, I think I actually got it. I was okay. But this is what I'm kind of figuring, that Zoom would be a good way of doing online tutorials.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, do you want to, while I try and find your post, do you want to run me through where you're at, what you're planning, what your thought process has been over the past few days of madness, and where you're at the moment?
Well, I think Monday I had a bit of I didn't have a meltdown, but I was close to it, thinking, what the hell? How is this going to impact me? Because the majority of my workshops are, I went funny then. I'm a face-to-face person delivering workshops to people, and a lot of the workshops were looking like they were all going to have to cancel. So then it's a case of like, I can't refund this, but this is going to have to be a transfer date. But luckily with my business, I have kits. So that's literally a class in a box. So I've offered transfer to different dates once we know what that's going to look like. But also I've been sending out kits as an alternative. So there's some people that are self-isolating at the moment, and they can still do that. They can still do something along the lines of what we would have done in a workshop, but in the comfort of their own home. So because I've got kits and I've got a big stockpile of them, because I did an event last year and I've got quite a lot left over, that is a really good thing for me to push. And I've had the busiest week I think I've ever had on kits ever this week, which is bonkers.
Cool. And what does that mean? What does that look like for you?
As in, well, a lot of trips to the post office, a lot of dispatching. So the problem with that is I have to, that's me doing it, because it's just me. And I had planned to do tutorials and little videos and time lapses of opening kits so people could see that, which I have done a bit of, but the last couple of days it's just been packing. So that's been a very different week to what I normally would do, but good.
Cool.
Very positive. So now what I'm thinking of doing are online tutorials, going live. I do work with schools, and that tends to be big projects. Although I'm trained to be an art teacher, I don't really do that anymore. But I'm sort of looking at revisiting that. I used to do something on about 2 years ago where it was called Monday Make, and it would be like a really cheap and quick activity that you could do with stuff you've got in your cupboards at home. So I'm looking at revisiting that and starting that on Monday, because there's going to be a lot of parents out there that are now homeschooling. So it's going to be something related to mosaic in a loose kind of way, but trying to bring in a bit of art history, maybe a bit of Romans, that kind of thing.
Cool.
So I'm going to try and do that about 11 o'clock in the morning, so I can tag on after Joe Wicks does his PE at 9 o'clock across the nation. Then you come do a bit of creativity with me. So that's one of the things I'm planning to do. The kits, I'm looking at bringing in some cheaper kits as well, because my kits and my customer base really are sort of more ladies who want to escape their kids and their families, who come and do a workshop for a really lovely afternoon. Now those ladies are stuck at home with their kids and they're tearing their hair out. So it's and they may not be able to, the budget that they have might not reach my kits, which are a little bit more, I would say, high end, I suppose. So I need to have something that's a bit middle ground. So I'm looking at just putting something together for that as well, so that it's something for the kids to do that is a bit more, there's a bit more to it than my cheap and cheerful craft stuff that I've launched this week, which was off the back of a workshop that can't run. So there'll be sort of 3 different price points: cheap and cheerful, middle range, and then the high end range. That's the idea.
So the cheap and cheerful is like a reduced version of the kit that you've got already.
Yeah, and it's not using, like when we did the mosaic workshop, we used those glass tiles on a wooden base. You still have the wooden base, but instead of having glass tiles, you'll have foam that you can cut into shapes with scissors. So it's really cheap and quick, and still really effective, but it's pence rather than, well, it's pounds, but it's, you know, it's a lot cheaper than having a big kit to do. And then there'll be a middle range one where it'll be the next step up, the wooden base, but it will be actual mosaic tiles, but not quite as complicated as some of my kits. So there's like a, you know, they can start on the basic next week, and by the end of the holidays they'll be on the the more advanced version. There's a bit of a graduation going up.
Cool. And what sort of price are we looking at here for each of those?
So the cheap and cheerful I'm doing at £5.
Yeah.
That includes free second class postage, or if people can come and collect, that's much better for me. Then there'll be a middle range about £12, and that will be like we did coasters, 2 of those in a pack. So if they've got 2 kids, then that's quite affordable. Then my actual proper deluxe premium kit is 25 and 38. So they're the more higher end ones, and they're more beautifully packaged, whereas the cheap and cheerful ones are thrown together a bit just to keep the price down, using recycled packaging, not using my normal pink boxes and stuff like that.
Okay. Wow.
Is that enough?
Yeah, you're incredible. It's yeah, so impressive to see how quickly you've done that about turn, pivoted, figured out that everything has completely shifted, adjusted your pricing, your products, how you're delivering it, and come up with that. How long did it take you to come up with that?
I've been mulling it over this week, so I think I had a bit of a mini meltdown on Monday. Had a little pep talk with a few creative people that run businesses here, who gave me a bit of a kick up the arse and said, come on, always look on the bright side of life. And I thought, yeah, you're right. I've just moved into that studio. There is no way that I am moving out of that studio. I have got to keep my head above water. So I've decided positivity is the best option, and I am filling my feed with positive news, stories, ideas, and already I'm starting to get people saying thank you for your positivity and ideas, and so I'm going to just kill the world with kindness and creativity. I've also brought in 15% off for NHS and key workers, because I think they need some sort of reward on their day off as well, and looking at hiring out my kit, because I can't use it. It's stuck down there in the studio, but some people might want to do a workshop at home, so they can hire cutters and goggles. So I'm looking at that as well. So loads of things, as well as learning to use Zoom so that I can start doing some online teaching at some point. And then try and get some sleep as well. That'd be good.
Wow. So do you know what you need to do? Do you have a figure that you know and you've costed out and you know what you need to do to keep your head above water?
I've got to go and look at that absolutely and nail it, because there's not so much stuff that I'm going to have to spend. I'm going to be saving money on petrol and all sorts, but it's going to be under £1,000 probably to keep everything, to even less than that, because I've just recently done my tax return, my accounts, my all the memberships are all paid up for the year. So really it's only my studio and my salary, and because as a family we're not going to be doing very much, I can keep my head above water at quite a low rate. In fact, I think 1,000 is way too much. I could keep it down even lower than that. I've got to really look at the figures.
Okay. Cool. So we can either do that now and cost it out and break down based on the pricing what how many kits you need to sell, what your margins are, and figure out your targets for that. Or I can give you an idea of how to go through it, and you can go away and squirrel away at that. But I think that'd be really helpful.
Okay.
From what you've just described to me, I'm not really sure. You seem to have everything sorted. I guess the best place I might be able to help is with marketing it, helping with the tech where I can a little bit, and getting the word out. Is that?
That's kind of why I dipped in with your little offer, because I think your marketing background would be a really good thing for me to have a bit of extra knowledge, and maybe things that I'm not thinking of that I could do. So that'd be really good for me to hear what you've got to say around that.
Cool. Okay, is there anywhere else that you're still scratching your head, struggling with, need to get your head around?
I think it is the online stuff, really, is how I go about pricing that. For starters, how I do it, whether it's just a case of, like we've done, you send me an invitation to the room, I send all my participants to a room. Do they buy a kit hand? Do they do we just work out something that they've already got at home? And how I price that, do I charge them for the kit plus like my time for running that online workshop for an hour? How does that work? I've not even looked at that before, so it's sort of a whole new area for me.
Okay, cool. All right, where do you want to start out of those things?
How to plan, I suppose, what an online workshop is going to look like. How do I do what I do online, and how do I get started? Like I'm on Zoom now on my phone. If I'm doing a workshop, I'm guessing that I want to go live on Facebook or something, because you want to share. I mean, you're recording this now, so I didn't even know you could record in Zoom. So because you basically, that content, once you've done it once, you want to be able to share that across the platforms, get it on YouTube and stuff. You don't want that wasted. So it's looking at all those sorts of things.
Okay, cool. So in terms of how do you get started, figuring out pricing, figuring out the logistics of delivering the workshop, you follow the exact same principle that you've done perfectly already this week. The first step is just to do it. You build it. You go out with your best shot of what you think is going to work, how you're going to deliver it across platforms, and I'll give you some ideas for that in a second. How you're going to price it, how you're going to structure it, what offers you have off the back of it. Are you going to deliver free workshops, and then at the end of the workshop you just ask people to purchase a kit to support you and help local businesses at the end of it? Do you run a small fee for a paid workshop and then get people to pay through PayPal and send them an invite link over Zoom to be able to access the workshop? How you manage all of that stuff. The first step to getting that nailed is just doing it. And you're doing all of this already. This is stuff but it might be helpful to just break it down into a process.
Okay.
So the loop you run through is just build it, run it. you want to be getting as much feedback from people as you possibly can.
Okay.
So you might go on to, so you can do this live. If you're, say for example, you're running this on Facebook Live, all the way throughout the workshop, be constantly asking people for feedback, parents, kids, what's working. Get people to just encourage people to drop comments below, and you can even do this in real time and just react to what's working, what isn't working. Are there technical issues, how you're structuring the workshops, how you're delivering it. So you can do that in real time. You could also look at Google Forms or
Google Forms.
yeah, or Typeform, which I think are both free, and you can, after the workshop, maybe for the first workshop, the first two, whatever it is, you ask people to buy kits, or maybe your call to action at the end of the video or in the middle of the workshop is just, I've put this link in the comments, and you can just pin your Google Forms link to the top comment wherever you're doing it, or you can send a link out, however you're delivering it, and just get people. You can set up 5-10 questions about pricing, about how you're delivering it, about any other feedback. Mix it up with multiple choice and just free form questions. It might be worth speaking to Gideon about that as well. He'll have a lot more tools about how you could do that specific part of it. But you want to, so the first step is build, the second step is measure, and for you, there's that qualitative feedback, which is people just writing to you and filling out forms and stuff. And then you want to be looking at the quantitative stuff as well. Like, so you've got your sales targets for how many kits I need to sell to make my grand a month or whatever it is. I know what I need to do to cover my costs. And so then you break that down by week, by month, and then as you run the workshops, you want to be looking at, okay, so each workshop I'm selling to start off with, whatever it is, 1, 2, 3 kits off the back of each workshop. Am I going to be able to cover my costs off that? And if not, how can I adjust it? If I am, then great. How can I improve that, and how can I build on that? So you want to be measuring people's just immediate feedback from just their thoughts and feelings, and adapt it that way. You also want to be looking at the figures behind it, how many viewers you've got, how many, where people are coming from. Are people joining the workshop from Facebook? Are they joining from LinkedIn? Are they joining from Instagram? Look at where your traffic's coming from and how that's breaking down into converting into people attending the workshop and people converting into paying customers as well. So that second step is measuring the results of what you've built and what you're running.
Okay.
And the third and final step of this is a loop, right, of build, measure, and learn.
Yeah.
So learning, after you've run the workshop, you've gathered feedback, and you could do this, you can run this loop on a daily basis, or you run it on a 2-weekly basis, whatever it is. It is to learn. You look at the feedback, you look at what's working, where's your traffic coming from, where are people purchasing your kits from. People may give you in their feedback ideas for other things that might be good to build out. So maybe you build a basic Shopify store for people to just be able to buy the kits. I don't know if you've got like an online store set up already.
Yeah, people just tend to come through to my website.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can buy those already on there.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Cool. So yeah, learn from all the information that people are giving to you. Listen to them. Just ask them. I mean, just ask them, what do you want? Is this too expensive? How should I structure these courses? You want to keep those questions open, but you want the feedback to be useful. So again, Gideon will be better at helping with that bit than I will.
Okay.
But that basic build, measure, learn loop, you just keep running through that as fast as you can. And from everything you've told me already, you do this intuitively without even thinking about it. But hopefully this kind of adds some structure to it. And this is the exact method that I use to build out startups and tech companies that have raised millions in funding and are building out tech products and digital products. You start by just building. You get as many users, as many people using the platform as possible. You measure as much as you possibly can from them, how they're using it, how they're engaging with it, what's working, what isn't working, and then you build. You learn from it, and then you build it again, and you build a better version. So that
I suppose the best thing you can do really is just start. You just got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Exactly.
If you wait for perfection, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I just think I'll just do it, and if I balls it up, I'll just laugh it off and just learn from it.
Exactly. I don't think you will balls it up. There will be lots of issues with Zoom. There'll be technical issues. There'll be things that you need to figure out. Who cares? You're just, exactly. That is the most important thing. The more you do, and the more you just keep starting and keep running it, it'll work its way out, and you'll figure it out as you go along. But you'll achieve far more from just starting and running through that than you will from spending a week planning it and then delivering it. Just even this afternoon, just run a workshop.
This afternoon.
yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, my battery! I didn't realise my battery was so low on my phone. I suppose I could do one this afternoon. I've got loads of packing to do. I haven't been down to the studio yet. My aim is to go live on Monday. Cool. And well, it's not my aim. I'm going live on Monday. So that, I think if I aim to work on that one, then I'll just go live and just I'll plan it, obviously, but just test the whole thing. But what I'm thinking of doing, because it will be for kids more, because the kids are going to be at home, I'm going to start doing some posts and saying I'm going live, so that people can sit there and they're ready and sort of say, I'm going live, I'm going to do an online workshop live on Facebook. You will need some paper, some scissors, and some, I don't know, old wrapping paper or something, so that everyone's there, they've got what they need, and we'll just get cracking. I'll just go for it.
Yeah, perfect.
And then once I've done it once, then I know what I can do better, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in terms of the posts and getting more people hearing about it, sorting your content out, you're pretty active on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at the moment, right?
Mm.
Do you have any other channels that you tend to use?
I am on Pinterest, and I was talking about that with Laura, actually, about getting more visibility on there and sharing more content. I have got Twitter, but I don't really go on Twitter, to be honest.
Okay.
For my customers, it's absolutely Facebook and Instagram are the two. I'm less really about LinkedIn, although I do go on there. I dip my toe in there.
Okay. Cool. And you, from everything I've seen, you know your audience pretty well already, and you're fairly established on Facebook and Instagram, and you communicate with them pretty regularly. Is that fair?
Yeah. I've got fresh content going out every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I kind of know what I'm going to say each day, or what message I'm going to be putting out on a daily daily basis. I'd like to say I've got like a strategy that I follow, but I don't. It's all in my head. I go with the flow, and just go with what I posted yesterday and what's going to look nice against that picture, with Instagram, because it's quite visual and stuff. But I've got a kind of idea of what sort of message I'm trying to get across each day.
Okay, and you're doing all of that yourself?
Yeah, it's only me.
It's only little old me.
Love me. Yeah, just me.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you've got a pretty good strategy there as well. I could give you some ideas for how you could build on that, maybe speed the process up a little bit, and dial that side of things in.
Okay. Yeah, fun.
But I mean, it sounds again like you've got a pretty good handle on it already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite confident on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm what I'm doing as well is starting to link in with other people and sort of sharing their stuff and commenting on them, because I really feel definitely with Instagram, the more you engage with that community, it comes back to you. It's not just about scrolling and just liking pictures. You've really got to work at it, and you've almost got to like flirt with people in a way, and just that's how you sort of get those relationships built. So that's definitely something that I'm working to do more of, and especially in the next few months is cheerleading other independents as well, because I think that's really good for my brand, to be able to cheerlead other people, but also just it's community at the end of the day, isn't it? It's about helping others. So yeah,
again,
yeah.
spot on. I think 6 months ago, a year ago, lots of people would have just liked, unliked posts on Instagram, either manually, or they'd have automated it, and they'd have thought that was their Instagram strategy for growing their audience and engaging with people. But yeah, again, 100% spot on. Engage with people naturally who are kind of aligned with what you're doing, but not competitors. People commenting on their stuff, their audience, engage with the brands directly. Spot on strategy for Instagram.
And I had some really exciting news yesterday, which I'm just so thrilled about. I like, as you know, I do.
Are you putting in active effort on the strategic partnership side of things beyond Instagram, or is that just off the back of engaging with people on Instagram and them hearing about your brand?
There's other things that I'm working with. So John Lewis is another one that I've just found out that this week I've been approved to apply for their pop-up shops. So that they've got these in-store pop-up areas where you can go and have your products. So that came through this week, which is all a bit of a weird one, because like the shops aren't really opening very much. So that's another strategic partner. I'd already bagged a workshop at John Lewis that I was supposed to be delivering in May. So there's some strategic stuff going on to the side as well as on Instagram. But yeah, it's all just a bit ad hoc, really. I just like make it up as I go along.
Well, someone who makes it up as they go along, you're flying.
I reckon.
You're doing everything right from what it sounds like. And without even knowing it, you're putting all of the best strategy in place and just nailing it just by being you. So
Thanks.
Keep your head down and keep doing exactly what you're doing.
I'm actually really excited about what the future looks like, because I think there's almost with all that knowledge that we've had from NatWest, and then this has happened. There's a huge pivot going on, but a pivot in stuff that I was doing, but I think it could actually be the making of my brand, which I didn't have. There's sort of like a need to have to do it now, whereas I was just like plodding along a bit. But this has sort of got quite exciting now. So fingers crossed, all that NatWest stuff is gonna rub off, hopefully. The shame, innit? I'm really upset that it's all just, we can't celebrate.
I think we're going to do a Zoom celebrate success and all just get drunk over Zoom.
We're going to get drunk over Zoom as well. Okay, well, cool.
Yeah, why not? I've started doing Zoom beers with mates and stuff. So yeah.
So how does that work then? If there's individual people, how do you chat and stuff? How does that actually? Because that's a bit like me running a workshop. You're going to have multiple. Will you have multiple little faces up?
Yeah.
How does that?
So let's dive into Zoom and how you could structure the workshops and conversations and stuff on that. And I'm getting my head around the nitty gritty of Zoom in the past few days as well. Lauren ran me through a lot of the features. She uses it for webinars and stuff. So.
Oh, okay.
So your question earlier about how do I run the workshops? Do I run it through Zoom, and then how do I get it on Facebook Live and YouTube as well? You're almost certainly going to want some paid level of subscription with Zoom.
Okay.
Zoom, the basic pricing plan is free for meetings up to 3 people.
Oh, okay.
And meetings up to 3 people, I think you can run indefinitely, or it might be 1-to-1 calls you can run for as long as you like, and then beyond that, there's a 40-minute cutout, and then you have to restart the call.
Oh, okay.
So if you're running a workshop to groups of however many, 20, 30, 100 people, whatever it is, you'll need a paid version of Zoom.
Okay. Oh, that's really good to know. Okay.
I don't think it's too pricey. I think the first version is like $11.99 a month or something.
Yeah.
And I think that covers you for up to 100 people. I've just got their pricing page up. I'll ping you that now as well.
Okay.
Where can I message you? So yeah, you definitely want to do that. Do you have any idea on numbers that you're likely to have at the beginning?
No. I mean, maybe 20. I don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea what the uptake of this is going to be. But then actually, I suppose it could be. Yeah, I don't know. But if we go with up to 100 for now.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that'll cover you for Zoom. And I think with that version of Zoom, you can also you can simultaneously run the workshop on Zoom and broadcast that on Facebook Live at the same time.
Oh, well, just by like flicking a switch on Zoom on your phone?
Yeah, you'll need to dive into the settings. So are you using Zoom on your phone, or will you be using it on your computer or your phone, or do you have a camera set up somewhere that
I just use Zoom on my phone? So okay. And I'm guessing there's going to be a need to set it up so that I can sort of talk to camera, but then I need to show people what I'm actually doing.
Yeah. I think
it's not like because Leanne's been doing a little bit with Pilates,
yeah,
and she can sort of almost just set it up square and do what she's doing in front of it, but there's going to be a point where I'm going to have to come in close and so that people can actually see what I'm cutting and stuff. So but we'll get around that, we'll work it out.
Okay,
how to position it.
So I'd recommend the main camera for you being on your desktop if you can, or your laptop if you've got a camera that you can use for that. I'm pretty sure the functions that you can use on your mobile are quite limited compared to what you can do on the desktop version.
Oh, okay. So it'd be better to have my laptop set up for that then.
Yeah, and you can download Zoom onto desktop for free. I'm just using the free version on my desktop at the moment.
Okay.
But then that gives you a whole load of things that you can do on there, a whole load of functionality. You can assign people as hosts if you've got, maybe you have a co-host. You could even run some workshops with other people, so like brands that you work with or other local businesses. If you want to tie a workshop in with them together, you can set yourselves up as co-hosts and then mute everybody else on the workshop. And there'll be technical issues. Every Zoom call I see online through Facebook Live or wherever, there's always technical issues, but you'll figure it out as you go along.
Okay.
And I'm going to send you a link to the pricing plan, to how to set up Zoom calls and broadcast it across to Facebook Live at the same time.
Okay.
I'm 99% sure there's not a way that you can broadcast it through Instagram at the same time, unfortunately. For Instagram, I think you'd have to do that native on Instagram stories. So what you could do is you could have Zoom and Facebook Live running through your desktop, and you can also set up the phone beside it to be running through Instagram stories. So you can
you can have Instagram TV, can't you? Because I've just set up Instagram TV, so you can do longer videos then.
Yeah.
So they do a little snippet to your Instagram, and then that goes to your channel.
Yeah. And with Instagram, on that feedback thing, you can set up polls. While I'm pretty sure you can do that live while you're streaming, and I'm pretty sure you can do the same on Facebook stories as well. So you can just be asking people live questions that are going to be helpful for structuring the workshops. What was the other thing I was going to suggest? On the point of getting people to look at specifically what you're doing, Zoom has a great feature where you can, I don't know if you've got any of these already, you could get like a USB desktop camera, like a pointing camera, that you can plug into your laptop or your computer. And if you're working on your desk and you're running these workshops, either on where you're sat now, or maybe you go into the workshop and you run it out of there, you can then switch the camera on Zoom to use, so from the camera on your phone or your computer, you can switch the camera to this pointing camera, and it will give you a view of what's on the table in front of you.
Okay.
You can get hold of them on Amazon. If you don't
what are they called? What are they called? A USB pointing camera? Because that's what I've written down.
Let me have a quick look. I'll see if I can find one now. If not, I'll send you the link afterwards.
Okay.
I don't know what specific. I don't know what the specific name for them would be.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll have a look.
Okay.
And send you the link afterwards. But definitely worth having a look at. Or if you've got a local shop that you can go into and might have one of those, like a little electronic shop, I would imagine the demand for them is going to be pretty high right now.
Yeah, true. I need to get in quick, don't I?
Yeah. But
we don't have
really
very many technical shops like that in the Forest of Dean.
No.
we've got lots of takeaways and nail bars. I'll get onto Amazon.
Yeah, have a look at Amazon, have a look at eBay. I'll send you an idea of what they look like. You can
Okay.
picture what I mean, though, right?
Yeah, I can kind of understand. It's like the ones that GoPro type thing, but smaller sort of thing.
It's like it has normally has a little triangular plastic base. It's and then like a flexible neck to it, so that you can move it around and bend it and position it. And then it's almost like a little desktop. Looks like a desktop light, like a real mini desktop light. And then the camera is in the end of it, so that you can just bend it over and just position it above whatever you're working on. So I think a lot of online tutors use them if they're tutoring kids over Zoom. Then they would use them just to show things that they're writing down, or calculations that they're doing, or whatever that might be.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll try and get one of those.
And yeah,
that's kind of where I need to be. Just getting on the old online stuff.
Yeah, some of your friends might have them already. It might be worth asking around nearby if anyone's got one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But that is probably, at least initially, that'll probably be a pretty good setup for it. You can, on Zoom, you can set up the meeting and you can make it recurring. So if from next Monday you want to, like you said, do your workshop every day at 11 a.m. after Joe Wicks, you can just set that up in Zoom, have it recurring, and you don't need to faff about setting up the Zoom meeting on a daily basis.
Oh, okay.
And you will, again, with the whole build, measure, learn, just do it and figure it out. You'll figure out whether you drop the link in social posts that you're putting out, whether you have a link on the website to the meeting for the day, how you distribute that link, whether people need a code to get in, or whether anybody can just join in, whether you do it across Facebook Live and Zoom and Instagram, how you structure it, whether you charge like a couple of pounds just for people to join in.
There's so many options, aren't there? Yeah, so many ways of doing it. And I've just got to start, I think, and then I think it'll become obvious which way, whether this is just like my lost leader that I just do as a freebie and that drives traffic to buying gift vouchers for future classes, or kits for now, or whether it is actually a paid for class and we all sit there and we actually do something like a class would have been, not necessarily a kit either, something that I would have actually done in the studio.
Yeah.
So lots of options.
You could test that this afternoon. Oh, you got someone at the door.
Yeah. Molly! We've got teenager at home, no sixth form.
You could set up a test for that this afternoon. You could how could you do that? You could put a couple of posts out. You could, for example, set up a page on the website. What's your website built on?
I want to say Silver Stripe.
Okay. So some website builders will let you show two different versions of the website to 50% of the people on the website. So you could, for example, set up 2 versions of your workshop sign up page, and one could be £2 entry, and you build out the copy and have everything the same on the 2 versions, but just change £2 entry. And then the second one could be free entry, option to buy kits afterwards, whatever it might be. You might not even mention that. You might just do 2 versions of the same page. It doesn't have to be complicated, real basic, with an email sign up form. And one has £2 per workshop, or however you write it, and the other one is just free entry. And you can just measure, put some posts out today, advertising your workshop. I mean, you could even say, I'm going to be running a workshop over the weekend, advertise it as if you're going to be running the workshop, and use that as that's your test to tell you what, like, to give you an idea of the amount of signups you're going to get based on each version. And you can use that to test a few different elements as well. And then you don't have to run the workshop, but you could just use that as your test to figure those sorts of things out. Or you could do it on Facebook, like with Instagram polls or stories, and just get some feedback on that before you run it. You still there? I think I've been talking to myself for 2 minutes.
Decided to die right in the middle of it. Where did you go? Oh, you've just popped up. Where did you go? I do apologise. Now, there's one thing that I've learned: when you go on Zoom twice in one day, make sure your phone is charged.
Yes, I have my phone constantly plugged into my laptop for stuff like this.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. When did we lose you? I realised halfway through that I was just speaking to thin air.
We were saying about, we talked about the little camera,
Yeah.
and then we were just talking about something about the workshops on
Testing
Zoom.
the pricing and how you structure it.
That's it. Yeah, the websites. So having the 2 different websites, and so I'm guessing you were going to go on to say then you can see which one is more attractive, doing the free one or whether the paid one, which gets the most traffic, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just you can test. You run exactly the same traffic from Facebook and Instagram to the website, and you have 2 different versions of the website. One with £2 per workshop, however you decide to price it, and the other one with free workshop. And you test, and then fill out your email below to join the workshop, and then you just see how many signups you get based on each one, and then you can figure out, you can just test that and give you an idea before you run it. It doesn't have to be with the website. You could do it with polls on Instagram or Facebook, or however else you want to structure it. But you can test those things without actually having to run the workshop before you do it.
Okay.
So let me just make a note of everything I need to send you. Have you got, I feel like I've ranted for a fair bit. Have you got anything that springs to mind?
No, that's been really useful actually, going through the Zoom thing, because I didn't realise that there were, I guess it's a bit like MailChimp, where you've got a certain amount that you get for free, and then obviously if you start having big numbers, they start wanting you to pay. But yeah, I think the big thing is to just get going, and like Ollie says, fail quick and whatever it is, fail, just do it and then worry about it afterwards.
Yeah, aim to succeed, don't aim to fail, but yeah, get out there, mess it up, and just keep running at brick walls, and you'll get there. It sounds like, honestly, it sounds like you're flying already. It's actually been really inspiring speaking to you and seeing how you've gone through that. And I think all of us have gone through that over the last week or so. Last weekend, I had exactly the same thing. Lost a couple of contracts, and was scratching my head and had 48 hours of panic. And then come Monday, I was actually exactly the same as you, really excited to get stuck into it. Goal obviously is just survive and keep my head above water. But there is loads to be doing and getting stuck into. And
do you think that's because we've been on the NatWest program? Do you think our resilience and our knowledge about pivoting and some of the stuff that, you know, all the stuff that they equip us with, do you think we're sort of ahead of the game a little bit? I'm seeing some posts on Facebook from local businesses that haven't had that, and I'm thinking there's a lot more that I think is ingrained in us from doing this NatWest program that we realise. So I'm hopeful that we've got quite a good start. Hopefully.
Yeah. I think a lot of the basic structure of pivoting, that build, measure, learn, feedback loop, and all of that all comes from a book called The Lean Startup. All of that.
Yeah, they mention that a lot, don't they? In fact, I was looking at buying that. I don't know whether I've bought it and I've just not got round to reading it yet.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend it.
Don't you?
Everything I told you about build, measure, learn is in that book. And yeah, inevitably that makes businesses, especially early stage businesses or businesses that are building new products and having to innovate fast, makes them a million times more resilient than your typical high street business that has been doing things the same way for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And when things shift, which actually with over the past 5-10 years is becoming more and more and more common, and people are having to innovate more. But they don't see that the world is shifting. And in these past few days, similar process to what's been going on over the past few years, but it's just accelerated it a lot. In a lot of ways.
The rate is just amazing how things are changing, and we're being given stuff on a daily basis of what the next government advisory thing is, and we've got to just react to it straight away, whereas bigger businesses have got to have a board meeting or, you know, decide what they're going to do, whereas we can digest it and by the next day we could be implementing something. So
which is a massive advantage. Are you on one of the group acceleration calls this afternoon, or on Monday?
No, you've put a doodle thing in, haven't you, for that? I might be able to hook in on Monday.
Cool. I think there's two spaces on that one for Monday. So.
Oh, are there?
I might set up a third one.
What time is it? Do you know?
11 till 12.
11 to 12. Okay, I might try and hook into that then.
Yeah, if you can't make it, just drop a note on the most recent Facebook post, and I'll put another slot in for those that can't make either of those times.
And is that through Zoom as well?
Yeah, I'm going to do it through Zoom. Again, this is an MVP for me. I've not run a group acceleration through through Zoom before. So today I'm going to be figuring out the nuts and bolts of it and how to structure it and do what we do normally, but just make it digital.
Yeah, okay. I'll look at my diary and see what I've got in for Monday. And I know I've got to be in the studio later, but it would be quite nice actually to see it Zoom with other people, because I can't quite get my head around the whole process and the logistics of that. So it'd be quite nice obviously nice to see everyone and help with the accelerator, but also from a logistic point of view, just seeing how it actually works with group. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for that.
That's all right.
And you're all right? You are okay? Everything's all right?
Yeah, as things stand, my head is above water for the next few months at least. Keep an eye on it. I'm just getting my head down and working hard and trying to help as many people as I can.
No, you're a star. Thank you. That's been really useful. I've had Laura this morning, my last mentoring, and then you, so that I'm really fired up now for the loads of ideas.
Yeah, well, from everything you said, you're doing amazingly well. You're doing everything right, so keep at
thank
it.
you. Yeah, well,
we keep in touch, keep messaging me, and keep me up to date with progress.
Will do. Okie dokie. Have you had quite a few people slot into these sessions?
Yeah, I chatted to Lauren yesterday. I'm chatting
cool.
to somebody else, a lady called Victoria at TP Tree later. Who I've
Victoria, she's lovely. She's got such an amazing business.
What does she do?
She's with Ollie, so she's in the one that Steve's in, the next level up from what we're on.
Right.
And she is sort of changing the world for deaf people is her sort of strap line. So she goes in and audits really big companies. So she has people like Legal and General, Aldi, I think Pret a Manger as well, and goes in and audits how they are working with deaf people and what they can put in place to make that customer experience the best it can be. So, and she's going really big places. It's amazing to see her business growing. But she, and the next level, it's called, isn't it? Ollie's little group. Is it called the next level?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so she's in that group. So she's not been in the hub lots, and I think she's based in Reading, so she's a bit like me. It's quite a trek to come in. But yeah, that's brilliant. I'm glad she's working with you. That's cool.
Yeah. And then I'll probably chat to Leanne at some point as well. I think she's doing workshops this morning, but
she's doing amazing, doing all her lives. Have you helped her get her started on that, or is
no?
She just
I haven't spoken to her yet. She's clearly the same as you, just running and flying with it.
Yeah, it's looking brilliant what she's putting together. So it almost feels like for her, I feel like she's suddenly found what she's destined to do, because I think she's her studio fell through during the course of the program, and this is I feel like I can see her. She's got a mojo, which is really exciting to see. So yeah,
it's really exciting. And I never expected to say that a week ago, but it is genuinely really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. There's so many possibilities. If you keep your eyes open, I think this could be an exciting time. And also, do you know what? I think it's just Mother Nature just saying, "I told you so." Just slow down, because there ain't going to be a world left for any of us the way it's been going.
Yeah.
So I think there's a positive. There's lots of positives out of this. I'm putting aside the fact that people are dying, because that is shit and that's not good. But we've got to look at what is going to come out of this. People being closer together, working together as families, understanding the education system, which they wouldn't have done because now they've got to educate their kids. So there's lots and lots of positives to glean from it, I think. But shitty for those doing GCSEs and A levels though, but
yeah,
they'll get looked after though, I'm sure. There'll be things in place for them.
yeah. If I was that age and I got told to go home from school, I'd have been licking my lips for 2 weeks.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, thank you so much. I don't want to take any more of your time up, but
that's all right. I hope it was useful.
Oh, it really was. Thank you. And just keep healthy and safe.
You too.